The 4 secrets to winning, what dance parents and dancers need to know. So every parent and performer at a weekend dance event will have some similar hopes and expectations. And we all hope that our performances and our team will be counted amongst the best on the stage. All parents hope that their child will have a great experience and that they'll be proud of themselves and they'll be able to perhaps bring home both some awards and some memories that can be cherished. A large number of factors have to line up to make a winning routine. Now, these factors are separated into what we can control and what we cannot. So the dancer's technique, it has to be sound. The repetition and practice of the steps, it has to be correct. The athleticism, the flexibility, the attitude of the dancers, it all has to align, as well as the execution of a really solid choreography that really showcases the performers and meets or exceeds the level of anticipated expectations for the age and the training. These are the factors that are broadly within our control. The work, as it were, which can be influenced by the creative team bringing it to the stage. Now, some of these factors can be positively influenced in the following ways. We might call them the secrets to success. So secret number 1, you've got to create the facility needed to win. And simply put, this is working out. Dancers are creating excellent flexibility, their stretch, their physical facility through hours of rehearsals and training and hard work and dedication. Through this working out, factors like endurance can be markedly improved. As a result, the dancer's competitive entries can begin and end with a continuous and palpable energy. The jumps and the leaps are higher and they're flatter and their limbs are fully stretched. There's no bends or unpointed feet. Lines are clean and they're defined. In this way, the dedication of each dancer to their routine and their team is an important secret to success. And secret number 2, visualize your perfect routine. And visualization combines a meditative state without distraction where the dancer imagines their routine and the music and being perfectly executed with every step being optimal. Every turn, every jump at its peak, and the performance value that just amazes. And the studies have actually shown that the exact same areas of our brains are engaged during visualization as they are during the actual physical execution. So in essence, dancers who visualize their routines are mentally practicing their ideal performance. Now, many Olympic athletes and coaches understand the power of visualization. They know that visualization techniques coupled with the perfected practice of repetition and the development of mental fortitude and that elite physicality give the best chances for a positive outcome in any sporting environment. And this is actually now a common practice amongst NBA players, Olympians, elite athletes in all disciplines of sport, both professional and amateur. You can actually read more about this. It's very, very fascinating. I've included some links in the text below. Now, secret number 3, commit your choreography to muscle memory. Now, dance teachers all across the land can be heard saying to their students, "Don't mark the number, dance full out." Why is this? Because dancers who have repeatedly executed the exact power, motion, and direction for each step in their routine commit the choreography to their muscle memory. This muscle memory allows a performer to look natural with each movement perfect and polished. When a dancer does not have to think about the next connecting step or movement because of the muscle memory, their transitions are smoother, their emotions are stronger, and their stage presence really shines through. The creation of muscle memory creates the routine as a hardwired area of the brain. It's akin to riding a bicycle. The movement becomes a natural motor memory, and the precious resources of concentration can be put on the artistic subtleties that make a performance a masterpiece. Secret number 4, overcome yourself and your limiting beliefs. What is the biggest limiter to success for dancers? The answer is fear. Our amazing brains have kept us alive for a very long time when there were predators lurking in the tall grasses, and we needed to be very careful and aware of what we could eat, or what could eat us, what could poison us, what could steal from us. But in today's setting, our own personal soft gray supercomputers, designed with this flight or fight response, are not always our best protectors when setting ourselves up for success in a performance in front of a crowd. A sinking feeling in the diaphragm, not quite a pain, but still really uncomfortable, can make remembering our routine and giving it our all on stage a bit of a challenge, to say the least. Sometimes dancers are so nervous and afraid they even throw up before their performance. It's fear. But what if we could change this narrative in our brain? What if the whole secret to being successful is to switch this natural response to the unknown out to our advantage? If you couldn't lose, why wouldn't you play to win? I'll share my own personal experience of stage fright with you. So when I first moved from my role as a show promoter and producer to a director and presenter, I was required by necessity to speak on the stage, microphone in hand. It had never dawned on me that I would ever experience that fear, that uneasy feeling in my gut, and yet there I was standing in front of an auditorium with a microphone in hand, breaking out in a cold sweat, my voice quavering as I spoke. I forgot to breathe. I struggled for air, obviously insecure, noticeably nervous. My first reaction? I'll never do this again. I look ridiculous. So, in this situation, I was not required to step, to turn, to spin, to leap, to fall to the floor dramatically or emote like your dancers do. I simply had to read a script, and yet I was a mess. How could I ever speak or perform on camera, stand in front of thousands of people on stage in a theater and speak? Or speak professionally within this new uncomfortable reality? The answer? I researched. I read dozens of articles and discovered that we are capable of changing our own limiting beliefs. That by rewriting our programming and perceptions, we can change our personal narrative and build a new belief set around what was real and what was illusionary in our minds. So to this end, I attended a Transformation Weekend seminar with one of the world's top motivational change specialists, Tony Robbins. Spending 4 days in New Jersey at the UPW seminar highlighted some amazing revelations for me, including this. Understanding our ability to interrupt our flight response in a controlled way and using the instinctive emotion of fear as a catalyst for change. Essentially, I learned to dance with my fear, to take the lead rather than it leading me. The highlight of this event for me and the formative change that it brought was a Polynesian-style fire walk on 1,200-degree coals. Before this insane mission, Robbins had us write our greatest fear on a piece of paper, mine being public speaking. And all of the participants threw those pieces of paper in a huge bonfire that would later that night be the glowing red coal bed that I would have to walk on. I have to tell you that I was a skeptic after seeing those dozens of bonfires blazing outside the Pine Barrens Convention Center in New Jersey that day. But I decided to keep an open mind. In the company that I was keeping, we're attending that weekend were 5,000 different people, leaders of Fortune 500 businesses, professional athletes, celebrities, military officers, and others you would consider to be the achievers in society. Now, after 10 hours of psychological preparation and meditation, and repetition that our beliefs form our reality, and that the majority of our fears are illusionary in nature, that fears can be controlled and even used as a catalyst to change in ourselves, I walked barefoot across 20 feet of glowing embers. That night changed my life in many ways. The biggest change, the very liberating realization that the demons, my fears, were no longer holding me back. That night, I walked on fire. It made me realize just how empowering preparation and meditation in combating the fears that limit us. So I didn't actually quit my role as a director. I decided to walk back out on that stage again the next season. Imagine my surprise that following spring at Scotiabank Theatre when I walked out onto the stage, mic in hand, and realized that fear was entirely and absolutely disassociated from me. I could feel the excitement, but not that horrible feeling. It was gone. As was the fear of looking and sounding silly. I was cured, and moreover, I felt powerful. Now, the fire walk is a metaphor for overcoming fear. Instinct can tell us that something is dangerous. It's true that if I had stood stationary on those coals for any length of time, I would have been fried. And if the countless volunteers that were there that night hadn't been there with hoses and buckets and water to flush our feet at the end of that walk, the embers might have stuck and burned my skin. But your feet are tough, and they contain a lot of water. And if you learn to suppress your attention to the heat by interrupting it with focus, you too can walk on fire. It's not magic. For our dancers, this metaphor does not need to be so extreme to have a similar effect. In my mind, we have to set our dancers up for success by giving them similar metaphors and tribulations to overcome, and in doing so to achieve and to grow. I mean, this happens in our early development naturally. We learn to crawl, then we learn to walk, then we learn to run. Without these stages of greater progression, growth isn't possible. And so it is with our dancers as well. Each year, your dancer is challenged to improve, to master that new step, to gain more flexibility. They grow and they progress as dancers and performers, and they face the challenges we put before them by their teachers. It takes dedication to dance competitively and a lot of bravery to step out on the stage. Sometimes, though, things don't go as planned. If your dancer has a bad weekend, forgets or misses a step, or feels it was a failure or that they've let down their team, remind them that it was one performance and that quitting, it isn't an option. Reassure your dancers, let them know that you're proud, that they represent the 1%, the exceptional, the athletes that showed up. Don't let one-off performances cloud their view. Encourage them to embrace the positive in their routines and to reflect on what they can learn from their routine and what they can practice in preparation for the next performance. These are the many factors dancers can control. Many trainers will even push their dancers with the mindset that they are performing against their own last best performance. Remind them also that there are factors that we cannot control. The other athletes that show up, how well they trained, how strong they are in their performances, and how strong their performances will be. How many of them you'll have to face. Dance is so much more than dance. Dance develops athleticism, pride, joy, accomplishment, confidence, creativity, emotion, teamwork, belonging. The competitive dance world provides an amazing opportunity for our kids to showcase talent as well as to achieve something beyond themselves each time they take the stage. It's an act of bravery that should be encouraged. Every performer stepping out on the weekend on a competitive stage represents the challenge to not only score a placement as high as they can in a very unpredictable field of competitors, but also to overcome fear. Regardless of the score, you're all winners. You've all performed and learned and accomplished more than you thought possible at the beginning of the dance year. Performers, the real competition is in your head, and like the fear, it's up to you how you dance with it.